Chair of the International Committee of National Education Union UK, Louise Regan. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem. It's very good to be here.
Thank you, Louise. So, as you know, there was a huge campaign started for freedom for Öcalan and solution for Kurdish question. This campaign has been started from 74 different places of the world, and um, it's a global campaign now to free Öcalan. So, how important is to have the new campaign for freedom for Öcalan and political solution for the Kurdish question? How would you going to evaluate this new era?
I mean, I think it's really important because this campaign has, obviously it was the 25th anniversary recently of his abduction and his imprisonment in solitary confinement. And I think that, globally there are lots of issues happening, which people get involved in, and it can become, I think, very easy for campaigns to just be forgotten, really. So I think to have this renewed focus on this is really vital at this time.
Thank you, Luis. Secondly, what are your concerns of the current treatment of Abdullah Öcalan? The isolation still continues on him. What is your comments on isolation of Öcalan, and do you think it's against human rights? Because when we look at the Europe and its institutions, when they talk about democracy and human rights, they sell themselves very well. But when it comes to Kurds and Öcalan, there is no any action against to break the isolation. How would you going to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, and I have spoken about this previously, solitary confinement, and particularly for the extended period that this has been going on for, is clearly, an abuse of human rights. I think the impact that must be having both psychologically, but also physically, it is very concerning. And this is long-term impact, and I think it is something we should be raising at the highest level, really, to say that this is unacceptable, that it has continued for this long period of time.
Thank you. So, how important figure is Öcalan? Do you think that he has a key role to play for peace in the Middle East and bring peaceful solution to the Kurdish question, as well as do you think his ideas are kind of has a key role to play to bring peace to the world as well? Do you think it's an alternative system that he is expanding for us?
I mean, I think, all the evidence shows that he is a key figure because of the campaign that has existed around him for this long period of time, and because of his writings, his beliefs, his belief in equality, in justice, and particularly women's rights, that he has written about and spoken about. And I think that he represents something that all of us want in the world. We want a peaceful, equal world where, there isn't this level um, of division, there isn't this level of, separation of people, and where all people are respected and valued, and treated with equality. And I think he really embodies that, and I think that's why he is such an important figure.
Thank you. You mentioned the woman's struggle as well. So, do you think Mr. Öcalan's free woman paradigm is also inspirational for the European women as well?
I mean, I think so. I mean, we've seen huge attacks on the women's movement and women's rights globally. And I think it is important that we have people in those sort of leadership roles, in positions, who respect and fight for women's equality, and see that that has to be central to any equality. If you don't have equality for women, you can't have equality for anyone, really. So I think having that as a central part of his arguments and his fight for justice, I think, are important.
Thank you. Just to underline the new campaign as it's our main topic. So, what else needs to be done to grow the campaign and make it more spread it around? So, how would you will support the campaign? Let's say an EU, what will you do to support this campaign, or what is your suggestions to make this campaign bigger?
I mean, I think it certainly is, as we have discussed, it's worth us thinking about meeting with people and discussing what more the National Education Union can do. And obviously, we've had a long commitment to supporting this campaign. So, uh, I think having meetings would be good. I think also it would be worth us talking to the TUC because, obviously they represent the unions within the UK, and they have got policy on this, and thinking about having a meeting with them and maybe them calling a more diverse cross-union meeting with international representatives from a range of unions to talk about what we can all do collectively.
Thank you. Lastly, what is your support message to campaign, and what is your Freedom for Öcalan message? You can add on why Öcalan should be free as well.
I mean, my support message is that, obviously you have our full support and backing, that you know, to continue to fight for justice, because that's an important thing to do, however hard that might be at times. I think, the fact that this renewed effort has started is really important and is an important aspect in terms of continuing this campaign. And I suppose my message generally is that what is happening is unacceptable. It is clearly a breach of human rights. We have to keep saying that loudly and clearly. We have to keep calling upon our governments to put pressure for the release of Erdogan, and for there to be, a fair and just process for him to be returned back to live in his community and in peace.
Thank you, Louis. Thanks for joining us, Chair of the International Committee of the NEU, Louise Regan. Thanks for all your comments and your support.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.